Hi, my friends. Today I want to present you a new story. Enjoy watching it. The warm glow of the chandeliers cast a golden hue over the lavishly set tables, the clinking of glasses blending with the hum of laughter. I stood near the entrance of the private dining hall, watching as my family indulged in the extravagant feast I had painstakingly arranged. The evening was meant to be a celebration of togetherness, an attempt to mend old wounds, but as I looked around, I felt an unsettling undercurrent beneath the facade of merriment. My father, a man of formidable presence, rose from his seat, silencing the chatter. With a theatrical pause, he lifted a small box from the table and gestured toward me. "Since you went through all this trouble," he began, his voice rich with amusement, "we thought it fitting to get you something special." A flicker of hope stirred in my chest. Naive, foolish hope that, for once, I would receive genuine appreciation. But as my father pulled out a baseball cap and plopped it onto my head, laughter erupted around the table. The bold, capitalized letters across the front read, "The biggest disappointment." Time slowed. The laughter warped into a distant echo as I reached up and touched the embroidered letters. My fingers trembled slightly, but I forced my expression to remain impassive. Years of being the family's scapegoat had hardened me, but this was a calculated humiliation. "Come on, Rob," my cousin Daniel smirked. "It's just a joke. Don't be so sensitive." I exhaled slowly, suppressing the sting in my throat. My mother sipped her wine, indifferent. My siblings grinned, their eyes glinting with satisfaction. Every single person at that table, people I had supported in their darkest hours, had chosen to laugh rather than defend me. I turned on my heel and strode toward the adjoining suite, where I had stored the carefully prepared legal documents. Each envelope contained a financial gift, a testament to my years of silent generosity. They were meant to help pay off debts, fund dreams, and secure futures. When I returned, the laughter had subsided, replaced by awkward shuffling. Without a word, I lifted the stack of envelopes, gripping them firmly. "What's that?" my uncle asked, frowning. I didn't answer. Instead, I held the papers high and in one deliberate motion, tore the first envelope in half. A gasp rippled through the room. I shredded another, and another. Pieces of contracts, checks, and goodwill fluttered to the floor like dying leaves. "Rob, what the hell are you doing?" my sister Rebecca demanded, rising from her chair. "Ending the joke," I said simply. My voice was eerily calm, but my eyes burned with cold resolve. "You don't need me, right? I'm just the biggest disappointment, so consider this my final act of failure." Silence settled over the celebration like a storm cloud. I saw my father's jaw clench, my mother's glass stilling midair, my cousin's smirk vanishing. I turned and walked away, leaving behind the scraps of my misplaced loyalty. As I stepped out into the cold night air, one thing was certain. I had been freed. And soon, the world would know the truth. I sat in my study, the remnants of the torn legal documents still fresh in my mind. The humiliation from the family reunion had settled into a quiet, simmering resolve. They would mistake my silence for weakness, but I had no intention of defending myself, at least not yet. The first strike came swiftly. Social media lit up with posts from my relatives, painting me as unhinged and unstable. Unbalanced, selfish, and bitter were just a few of the words thrown around. My cousin Miranda led the charge, posting a dramatic retelling of the incident. "Robert lost his mind last night. He just tore up legal documents like a lunatic and stormed out. We tried to reason with him, but he's always been erratic." I smirked at my screen. The lies were almost comical. Scrolling further, I saw my brother-in-law Greg's comment, "We should have known. Money makes people show their true colors." True colors. If only they knew. Instead of engaging, I compiled years' worth of receipts, bank statements, and emails, every quiet act of generosity they had conveniently forgotten. Mortgage payments I had covered, medical bills I had settled, tuition fees I had discreetly taken care of. I wasn't just going to clear my name. I was going to expose them. A message popped up on my phone. My sister Clara. "Robert, let's talk. You're making this worse. We need to fix this." I stared at the screen before typing. "There is nothing to fix. You all made your choice. Now you'll live with the consequences. Clara's reply was instant. You're being ridiculous. This is family. You don't turn your back on family. My fingers tightened around the phone. You turned your back on me first. No response. Over the next few days, the online attacks escalated. Miranda posted an old photo of me with a mocking caption. What success looks like if you ignore the breakdowns. They thought they controlled the narrative, but they had no idea what was coming. In the morning, I sat in the office looking through endless messages from my family. Words like unstable, ungrateful, and selfish flashed across the screen. Each twisted fabrication stung, but I remained silent. I had something they didn't: proof. I spent the past week gathering bank statements, receipts, and emails that documented years of financial support I had provided to each family member, only to be ridiculed in return. That evening, I received a call from my cousin, Melissa, the only one who hadn't joined the smear campaign. Robert, they're saying you lost your mind at the reunion, that you threw a tantrum over a joke. A joke? My voice was calm, but laced with ice. Melissa, they called me their biggest disappointment after I paid for everything. And now they're trying to paint me as the problem. She hesitated. They're going too far, Robert. Even Uncle Peter is saying you threatened everyone. I exhaled sharply. I have something to prove them wrong. Melissa's voice lowered. What are you planning? You'll see soon enough. That night, I uploaded a detailed article on Fortune's online platform, laying out years of my family's financial dependence on me. I attached screenshots of paid mortgages, medical bills, tuition fees, all covered by me without hesitation. I described the humiliating scene at a family reunion meeting where they had turned away from me despite everything I had done. The post went viral within hours. Thousands of comments flooded in, condemning my family's cruelty. Influencers picked up the story, dissecting the evidence and calling out my relatives for their hypocrisy. Soon, their lies crumbled under the weight of undeniable proof. The next morning, my phone buzzed incessantly. Calls from my father, my brothers, even my mother, all ignored. A single message from my father appeared. We need to talk. I smirked, typing my response. We have nothing left to say. For the first time in years, I felt free. The storm had been brewing for weeks, and now it was time for the final confrontation. I stood at the entrance of the same lavish restaurant where my family had humiliated me. But this time, I wasn't here for reconciliation. I was here to deliver the truth. With a folder tucked under my arm and my presence as calm as a sharpened blade, I stepped inside. They were gathered, laughing as if they hadn't smeared my name across social media. My brother, Leonard, leaned back in his chair, smirking. Look who finally decided to show his face. I placed the folder on the table. Since you all enjoy public performances, let's make this one memorable. I flipped it open, revealing printed screenshots, receipts, and notarized documents, proof of the financial aid I had provided for each of them over the years. My mother's mortgage payments, my sister Evelyn's boutique funding, Leonard's failed investments that I had covered. Every single lie you told about me, it's all here. Every dollar I gave, every debt I erased, yet you branded me unstable when I walked away. Evelyn scoffed. So what? You expect gratitude? I expected basic decency, I shot back. Instead, you made me your scapegoat. The restaurant fell into silence, patrons whispering, watching as the family's carefully crafted lies unraveled. Then came the final blow. My phone lit up. And here's the best part. I turned the screen to show a viral post. My Fortune article had amassed millions of views. The public had taken my side. Influencers, journalists, even former business partners of my family had chimed in. The truth was out, and the tide had turned. Leonard's smirk faded. My mother's hands trembled. Evelyn went pale. You can't spin this anymore, I said coldly. Enjoy the fame you wanted. You've earned it. Without another word, I turned and walked away, leaving them to choke on their own deceit. The reckoning had arrived, and it was absolute. I stepped out of the restaurant, the cool night air hitting my face like a final act of cleansing. Behind me, through the glass doors, I could still see them. Leonard frozen in his seat, Evelyn gripping the edge of the table, my mother staring blankly at the folder of receipts and proof that had just shattered their carefully built facade. The laughter that had filled the room when I first walked in was gone. Now, only silence remained. My phone buzzed. A message from Evelyn. We need to talk. Don't do this. I exhaled sharply, my fingers hovering over the screen. But what was left to say? For years, I had been their safety net, the one they called when the rent was due, when business ventures failed, when they needed help. And yet, when I stopped giving, I became the villain. The door behind me swung open. Heavy footsteps. Leonard. You think this fixes anything? His voice was low, strained. You just turned the whole world against us. I turned to face him. No, Leonard, you did that when you lied. His jaw clenched. We're family, Robert. I shook my head. That word stopped meaning anything the moment you sold me out. I took one last look at him, at the restaurant, at the people who had once been my family. Then, without another word, I walked away. The city lights stretched ahead of me, a new beginning waiting just beyond the shadows of my past. And for the first time in years, I felt truly free. Friends, what do you think of this story? Write your opinion in the comments. Would you like more stories? Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell button so you don't miss any videos. See you tomorrow.